Hi everybody! I'm going to do some channeling today, and it's related to a question, and the question is asking if there are any good reptilians, and that is, there are good reptilians. I'm just going to see what images come related to this question. So the first thing is, trying to comprehend what is the human, what is happened today, what is taking place here on this planet that has caused all of this, what human beings feel today related to what feels like imprisonment, what feels like a huge cycle of change taking place. Seeing the Dragon Man as the reason for human suffering, so to speak, Draconian race. So trying to see beyond that, to see this form, what is reptilian form, what is a kind expression of reptilian form. So this is so I'm like sort of overwhelmed by what is happening, but I have no answers as of yet. So they're showing me, it's like really overwhelming conversation for some reason. It's sort of like there's so much more history here, and in all the history combined into one emotion. How do you define that, you know? How do you define all of the history of mankind in one emotion? It's overwhelming. They're telling me, okay, describe some of the emotions. So sorrow, extreme sorrow, extreme joy and love, because there is love on this planet too. What is deception? Deception that creates joy, and deception that creates sorrow. That is the feelings. All of those feelings. What is love? What is sheer love? And what is sheer, like, the opposing force? I mean, dark and light. What goes into the spirit realm, even. It's not just about this physical world. It isn't. It is also about the spiritual world. So there's more existing here than just alien beings and human beings in a planet. It is a universe, a spiritual universe also that is existing here, also involved here. What we see as Draconian race is sort of on the spiritual level then would be like the devil or the darker side. And then what we see is sort of, I don't know, benevolent alien beings, Palladians, or benevolent alien beings, because they come in so many forms too. They're not just Palladians, they're all kinds of forms, even insects, even animals, even all kinds. So they are sort of like expressions of what are angels, what is light, lots of light. So we're talking, now we're sort of opening Pandora's box, you see, and now we are talking about more than just the physical, and now we are talking about the spiritual too. So they're saying all creations come from light, all creations were born from light. Lights, different varying kinds of lights, even dark light. They're showing you what love is, and love is the only force that can create. Even in the darker sides of the force, even. Love creates even darker sides of the force. And love is all the sides, it says. Love is all the sides, like a sphere. It is every side. How do you put a side on a sphere, they say? You can't. Just see the sphere as love, and then see what comes from the sphere as all. That's what they say. All comes from the sphere. You come from the sphere, I come from the sphere. Our souls come from the sphere, the physical world, the spiritual world, everything. So, see. So the energy's changing now. So you just have to wait until it makes sense. And I can't even describe what the energy feels like. Sort of things calming down, but not calming down. It's just a different energetic sensation. It has no definition at all. Something's changing. Something like looking into the mirror and seeing myself. I say, what do you see? And then I say, I see Draconian race, or I see, lizard. They say, you see that in yourself? And I say, then yes, I do. I see myself as all of the expressions. Then they say, human beings, when we all look into the mirror, do we see Draconian race in ourselves? What do we see about ourselves? They say we are both dark and we are both light. If you want to see change here, you just choose. Choose what you want to see in the reflection. Do you want to see Draconian race in the reflection, or do you want to see angels in the reflection? You choose to see. But they're talking, this is spiritual, this isn't about the physical, which was the question, related to the question, which was, are there kind lizards? So let's ask them. Let's see. So, physical form, that is reptilian. Are there kind reptilian beings? Let's see. Sort of spinning, So I'm sitting on a chair that rolls, and then the bottom of it is just spinning around and round and round. It'll make sense here. What is, like my chair is blasting off into space now. So it's like a propeller, and then now I'm going upward. They're taking me up into the stars to see all of the universe. Did you see all of the universe? No, I can't even come close to seeing all of the universe. They're helping me to see the expansiveness of space, the universe, which is more than just this universe, not just this galaxy. It is all the galaxies, infinite numbers of galaxies, the ginormous universe. They're saying, we like to take our telescope and see what is around us here on this planet, as though this planet is the only place. And that's really related to the gift of our species, is to not relate to being in oneness with everything. Not relate to that. That is the gift of our species, to see what is before us, and that is all that we see. Not to acknowledge the vastness. And there's sort of so much laughter or just joy that yes, absolutely, they're showing me what is a DNA strand. A DNA strand that is taken from the rainbow. And the rainbow is of all the colors. And so some colors are darker, right? And as human beings associate darkness with sort of demon or devil or Draconian race and all that. So we'll just associate darkness with that. But they're saying, we have to even relate to the fact that what we perceive as color is only at one tiny side of a spectrum of colors. And is very small in relation to what is in existence. So just for simplicity's sake, then you have this DNA strand that is red and yellow and orange and green and all these colors, and then it has the darkest colors, even dark blue and purple and even into black, and then in white over here. And so they say everything is created from all of the colors of the rainbow, and even species of lizards are created. The genetic, they're saying genetic strand. So their genetic makeup would not relate to wanting to harm others or wanting to be of that sort of nature of, they say the nature that wants to harm others for the benefit of itself, it sort of doesn't have a compassion. That nature doesn't relate to compassion. That is the emotional gift, is that the gift of that physical form would not actually relate to compassion. They say that is a gift. We wouldn't relate to that as a gift, because without compassion, then what is suffering. And they say that is your gift, that you would know what compassion is so you could know otherwise. You could know what love is. some of these forms don't know what love is in that way. That their genetic strand does not allow that understanding. So that is just their form, they say. There are forms of lizard that are literally absolutely shut off from the valve of love, completely shut off from the valve of love. So they would be entirely aligned with what we would perceive as evil. And then there are lizard forms that are actually do understand compassion, actually do understand love, are forms of love even so far into the spectrum of light, they say. What is angelic light, let's call it that, that they would be angels too, in that way, that they would also be angels. And then there are so right now when we look at a rainbow, you could say this species of reptilian is purely black. Let's just say black is evil, so purely evil. And then this species of draconian race or reptilian is purely angelic. That is all they are, is like Palladian beings or something purely angelic, a lizard species. But then you have a lizard species that is red, orange, green, blue, and all these colors. Very much so showing you what is like a human being with all of these colors and all of these like facets of emotion to try to comprehend themselves and actually becoming almost confused by all of our emotions. All the emotions getting in the way of us knowing how to behave or how to be balanced with our emotions even. Because we feel them. We feel all of them. We feel the evil and we feel the love and we feel the compassion. And we want to try to align with what is the best, doing it the best, making the best choice, being the best we can be. But sometimes life gets hard and that challenges our decision making. They say human being, that is the gift of being human on this planet, is all these spectrums of emotions. And so there's some lizards then, physical lizard beings, with this rainbow of emotions, and then they are also aligned with what is very much so like being a human being on this planet, where they are trying to comprehend and perceive through all of these lenses of colors and emotions and feelings. So they're saying that they're reminding me, showing me what is the vastness. What would you call it? I think space is a very, space makes me feel like the size of our galaxy. The universe feels far more expansive than the word space. But how do you even, how big is the universe? Like, seriously, it is so enormous in comparison to our size as a human being and, what is the universe, As a soul, everything is so relative, you know what I mean? If you're incarnating as a human being on planet Earth, the universe feels enormous. As a soul, though, as a part of a connection of the oneness, now you see all of the universes. In this palm of your hand, what is that? What is, you can comprehend all of the universes in the palm of your hand. So now you see the difference between what a human being can comprehend and what a soul can comprehend. They're really showcasing how there is this sort of feels like a friction, and human beings seem to have this understanding of a grander totality, really wanting to put the grander totality into logical sentences or lines, or to define an infinite universe. So that an infinite universe could then too be in the palm of our hands. They're saying that you can't comprehend an infinite universe in the physical. You can only comprehend it in the spiritual. And so to comprehend an infinite universe, you have to go inward, or you have to go to the spiritual. You have to go to the soul, is one way to describe it. Into the soul. And they remind me how my soul, like, sometimes you have feelings about things and you need comforting or whatever. So when you connect with your heart, you connect with your soul, the home, where your soul is born, where you reside, where your soul resides. And then inside your heart, you feel the home where your soul resides. And then you feel all of the love that exists there for you. And then you allow that to fill you, you know. And so when I say go inward, I always think about going to my heart center, which is also the home of my soul, so to speak. And that is how my humanness relates to that. So there's so much more to what can be shared when we're talking about an infinite universe. And I myself, you know, I struggle because I come to awareness, and I can't, when we're talking about this, a human being needs 2 + 2 = 4. A human being needs that. You have 2 fingers, you have 2 fingers, now you have 4 fingers. That makes sense, right? But when we're talking about an infinite universe, now all of a sudden 2 + 2 = 1,000,000. You know what I mean? It is so hard to define the humanness, to make sense of an infinite. My soul, I'm discovering that my soul has many faces. And we're not just talking about reincarnation, we're talking about a spiritual existence, and what feels like multiple versions of myself. How do we make sense of that even, when we want to just be one soul? You're not just one soul, you're not. And that is almost overwhelming to comprehend. And so when I do this channeling, and I'm like, try really hard to create a concrete answer to everything, and they remind me that we live in an infinite universe, it doesn't get concrete. It doesn't, because there's so many facets of mirrors and reflections and the infinite. You can't just say all lizards are dark or evil, because they aren't. Remember, we live in an infinite universe, is what they say. So let me see what else. I don't mean to look down, but it is the easiest way for me to channel in the wisdom. So I'm going to see what else there is about this. So they remind me that I myself have seen myself as evil, as an evil version of my own soul. Like, what is a soul that is entirely dark and like evil, like the devil? They say that is true. That is also correct. But I've also seen my soul as angelic, as, you know, an archangel, and with wings and everything. And they say that too is correct. That I am both angel and devil, and balance and oneness. That I am dark and I am light. How are you, a human being, supposed to tolerate that wisdom? It doesn't relate to what we have comprehended, you know, up until this point. Being raised a Catholic, I'm gonna have to go to hell for even saying that. You know what I mean? That's the way human beings think. They say that is the voice of fear and terror and confusion and misunderstanding. That is the voice of misunderstanding and deception. This is the voice of all of these places. Not one voice, many voices. Many voices that come from many places in an infinite universe. And so now you can comprehend that where fears come from. Fear isn't concrete, they say. Fear is not one. Fear is not 2 + 2 = 4. Fear is infinite, too. Fears come from all different places, and fears are there to confuse us and manipulate us, and to manipulate our choices. And so now we don't know who we want to be. Do we want to be angel or do we want to be devil? Like, that comes up in the cartoons all the time. You have the devil talking to you, and then you have the angel talking to you, and then you have to decide, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be aligned with? What version of yourself? What version of yourself do you want to choose this time? And so that's what they're talking about. This whole thing with Draconian race, it's not just a physical thing, it is a spiritual thing. It is both. They're very clear that it is both. Some people see it only as spiritual, and some people see it only as physical, but they say it is both. It isn't just physical, it is spiritual too. Everything that is in existence here. And so this is what we relate to, our planet. We relate to our planet. So we don't relate to the planets beyond our planet. We don't understand what exists out there in the universe. And so that's why that's why we try to perceive more, but it's very hard because of how our minds comprehend things. So this is all I'm gonna share on this conversation. So in relation to this question, yes, absolutely. There are absolutely lizard beings that are kind and loving. I've actually, this image has come up many times where I've seen, what do you call an icon, but I've seen a picture, and then I've seen a channeled, in channeling of another person, where I've seen an ancient lizard also in the form of an angel too. And that is very much so the truth, that there is spiritual DNA even of a kind, benevolent reptilian. That is 100% true and accurate. That's all I'm going to share. That's very overwhelming for me to talk about this. That's all I actually can tolerate sharing for right now. But I hope that gives greater clarity on the existence of, our relationship to what is taking place here. And that's all. So thank you for watching my video. More videos to come.